Whether you have a diagnosis or not, I don't care. Jump inside this podcast and I'm going to teach you how to read your own blood work so you can find the answers to your health concerns. Yes, those normal labs that your doctor keeps saying, oh, they look great, we'll see you again in 6 months. They really have answers in them if you know how to read it correctly. So come join me along this journey, leave a review, and share with your friends. Let's dive in. What health coaching certification program do I recommend? I get this question asked all the time. Well, I've finally vetted them out, and the one program that outshines all others is Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, or FDN. There are 3 reasons why. 1, it's very clinically based and teaches labs. I myself turned down a master's degree in functional medicine because it didn't teach labs. 2, you have lifetime access and it always gets updated. This is important because things change and you need to be in the know. 3, when you complete the training on your timeline, they have an incredible post-grad community. So they don't just kick you out on the streets and say, good luck. If you've been thinking about receiving your health coaching certification or are a practitioner looking to branch out and scale a virtual practice, now is the time. Make 2023 your year. Do this for you, your family, and those you're about to help. Go to fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie. Check the show notes for a $250 off code available for a limited time. I am happy to announce that I have partnered with Functional Diagnostic Nutrition because I love their program so much. They are now the podcast sponsor. All right, let's get into the podcast episode. Here we go. Welcome to the Beyond the Diagnosis podcast with me, your host, Dr. Kylie. We had our last conversation with Mike and I. We're going to continue that conversation today as Mike takes us through more of the supplement world. And I just want to have a little caveat here, you patients and general public who are listening. I had a practitioner texted me and messaged me. She had a patient go into a medical emergency. She had gone to, I can't remember the store, but it was like Natural Foods or Whole Foods or something that was not GMC, not Walmart, not Costco. It was a higher grade, and bought a supplement, thinking that the supplement was going to be very helpful for her. Well, it put her liver into failure, and she went into the ER. Luckily, they caught it fast enough and were able to do the care needed so she didn't die, basically. And now she's going to recover from taking this supplement that she thought was good for her that ended up not being good for her. And I think there's a lot more of that goes on. Mike's here to speak on that because not only those instances, but to navigate the supplement industry, because it is a billion-dollar industry, and to navigate it in ways that are beneficial, walk us through his journey so you get to know Mike some more as we continue to collaborate more and more.
Thanks, Kylie. It's so good to be here. And I've had the fortune of being involved in the supplements industry since I was a 13-year-old. I was not, that was a limited part-time basis, but my father had run a contract manufacturing business where he started to take on some new accounts that were dietary supplements. And he did like the fulfillment work, the bottling and putting pills into packets. And so when I was younger, I helped out with that operation. But fast forward to my 20s, one of the roles that I had was managing this retail store in a local town here or a local city in Utah, Bountiful, Utah. And there were multiple brands of supplements that this retail store carried. And so I really had to learn quickly. It was just a lot of hands-on training because customers were just coming in constantly and I had to help them. And I had to help them find the exact supplement in this entire store based on what they were telling me. Like, oh, hey, how are you, sir? What can I help you find? And he had some joint pain, or someone else that was looking for something like bodybuilding supplements or something like that.
But you're 13. There's no internet at this time, guys. There's no Googling these things.
and yeah, and this, I was in my early 20s by this time, but great point.
Okay.
Although there was internet in the early 2000s, it just wasn't the same. And yeah, there was no, marketing, everything was very different. And so these people were really counting on me to give them information face to face at this store, unlike they had ever heard before, about why to take, this product that has antioxidants in it, and why, this product for, to help them recover after a workout or whatever the scenario was. And so I learned a lot from that experience. And I continued to experience my career in dietary supplements. And I came across systemic formulas when I was in my mid 30s. I didn't even know they existed, because they were serving the niche of licensed practitioners. And
And just for a
fell
little
in love
bit of
with it.
background too, Mike and I grew up within like a 15-mile radius of this company.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was the same
Billy,
way.
where
I had no
you
idea
grew
they
up was
existed until
Clinton, Utah,
2018.
right?
Mhm.
So didn't mean to interrupt you. I think you froze there temporarily.
I'm just saying that I didn't know they existed until 2018. I grew up 10 miles from them. Had no clue.
And just this small company that manufactures nutraceutical products for licensed practitioners. And I I applied for this particular position. It wasn't the position I got, but because I started to communicate with certain individuals in the company, there was another position that I was able to get involved with where I helped new customers learn. That was my first position, really helping with this vast product line, trying to hold the hand of chiropractor or whomever, licensed acupuncturist or certified health coach, one of you many practitioners from all walks of life. That was my role. There was another individual that would bring people on board, set up their wholesale professional account, and then I would go from there and help them learn the product line, and that would enhance the sales of the company. And but just really, being able to help them in that way, it led to the need for making protocols or sharing protocols that had already been done. I worked with a gentleman, a biochemist, who was innovating. He was always trying to push the envelope in microbiome, in cellular health, you name it, collagen, a new collagen blend that he was able to find the materials from Germany and Brazil. There was always this innovation. And so I had to stay up to speed with that and help other practitioners learn the product. And although practitioners are extremely intelligent, I still wanted to dumb it down. I wanted to simplify it.
We're humans
because I had
too. We
what?
like simplicity.
The gentleman I worked for, Dr. Shane Morris, he knew how to deliver the message like up here, like you were at grad school,
Yeah,
having
he's
a
PhD
PhD.
level.
Yeah, and people appreciate that because it's credible. But I had to take from what he was saying and really put it down to where I could go home that night and explain it to my daughter, who's a teenager, and see if she could understand it. So I wanted to be able to do that and translate. And that was always the goal, was connecting the dots. And it was protocols, it was customization, and just helping practitioners each and every day at this company. And it led to managing, directing this department for the company with clinical support. And right as I was getting that new department is when I met you, Kylie. And that was when we produced some videos together and, evolved that relationship. Considering my experience as a 13-year-old, when my dad was trying to, get this small business growing, being able to see it from that perspective, and then see the perspective at retail where there was so many different brands and people needed guidance. And then seeing this unique company that served practitioners, the professional line that was comparable to Standard Process and Apex and Designs for Health and Metagenics, you name it. I learned a lot in terms of what a supplement company needs to have to be a high quality and highly reputable, especially now, which is different than it was 30 years ago in the early 90s. The standards right now are obviously much higher. The standards per ingredient and third-party lab testing, the standards are very high. And I think the reason for that is because people don't want to, they want the rest assurance that products don't have contaminants. Contaminants meaning heavy metals, E. coli, pathogens. They don't want, harmful organisms in their product. And fortunately, the company I have been working for, Systemic Formulas, had a third-party lab that Dr. Morris had begun when he was much younger. And Nutribiome, or also known as NB Analytical. And this lab was able to bring in, it still is, brings in all of the raw ingredients and thoroughly test them. And the machines used in the lab are stellar. I mean, they're first rate, not only within the state, but around the globe. If you were to see comparable labs around the globe, this is really the benchmark standard of machinery. These are the Ferraris of testing and other research and development. The testing persists to make sure that ingredients are less than so many parts per million when it comes to these potential contaminants. When it comes to heavy metals, arsenic, lead, cadmium, mercury, and other pathogens, bacteria, fungal, mold, and other toxins. Definitely, and there's others that I haven't mentioned. But because of that, every raw ingredient that this company brings into their facility has been thoroughly tested, and it has what's known as a certificate of analysis, or also known as a C of A. And that C of A, you could even request of the company to send you a C of A of one or more of their products.
Really?
Just to have that rest assurance.
So is that a good way to determine good from bad? Or, I don't want to say good from bad. Let's say great from good.
That's a better way to put it. Absolutely. Can a company, if you were to call in to your favorite company that you've been learning more about to get your greens product, or to get your pre-workout supplement, or just to get your collagen, your liquid collagen, or your anti-parasitic formula, if you were to call the company customer service today, would they be able to give you a C of A of that product that you like? And would they even know what a C of A is, a certificate of analysis? If they do, and if they could deliver that for you, wow, that says a lot. Because that means that they're confident in like, oh, sure, yeah, we want you to see our C of A. We want you to see that we have a potency guarantee with our products, and that these products are clean. Because if they weren't clean, they wouldn't pass, and we'd have to throw the stuff away and start over. So that's basically what has to happen.
Is that common across the board?
I think at different levels. Like I said, the standards are high, not only with professional lines, so practitioner lines, the standards are high, and they have audits. It's common, it's typical for the Metagenics and the Nutritional Frontiers, Cellcore, others to actually have the third-party testing so that they can have that level of credibility. Dr. Shane Morris would brag about some of the additional bells and whistles in his lab and how they are ISO certified. And they have these other certifications, which are very rare. And I mean, they do stand apart from the crowd.
Well, there's a reason why you love them and why I love them. Not only from the purity standpoint, but they get results fast and with minimal dosage. But on the other end, because the process is so long and so detailed, it might be a little while before you get the supplement. It's got to pass all of the rigorous demands that they place upon it.
Yeah. When I had began working there for about 6 months, we were surprised with an FDA employee. Just parked right in front of the building, walked in, had their lab coat on, and let the front desk know that they were representing the Food and Drug Administration and that they were there to do an audit on the facility, everything.
Oh, wow.
And that included
completely
marketing materials,
unannounced,
too.
just walked in.
Yeah, totally. No one was prepared. And that's the way they do things, which, there's, I mean, it was good in the fact that then, somebody who is ready to show that, hey, we're good manufacturing practices, we're good lab practices. We have this, we have that, we're not making claims where we shouldn't make claims or whatever. They're more prepared than somebody who doesn't have those things going for them. So yeah, there was that happened. Dr. Shane Morris was tied up with them for the next week. And fortunately, between the lab and the manufacturing facility, there was a lot that was already checked off and in really good shape. And when it came to marketing materials, there were things that had to be changed. They weren't claiming, Systemic Formulas wasn't claiming that like their products could cure or treat diseases or conditions. They weren't doing that. But the language had to be even more general, almost boring as compared to what they were saying before. And, so that was something that the company was willing to comply. They were willing to submit to what the FDA wanted. They had to be compliant. And because they were willing to go through the checklist, that added to their credibility in terms of, even if you don't like the FDA, I mean, I understand, but as far as being willing to comply with some of these,
you have a business in America. You have a business in America. You gotta play the game somehow, sometimes. And it's no different than as practitioners too. Like, I don't go around claiming that I can beat autoimmune disease and cure cancer and all the things. I would lose my license over it. So I rephrase it as, I don't even treat symptoms. I don't treat diagnoses. I help unhealthy people get healthy. The supplement companies are no different. They can't say like, oh, this fixes this, this fixes that. This protocol does this protocol does that. That's why they're all generalized, like comprehensive, foundational, those kind of things.
Exactly. I think where it comes down to practitioners and the end users, the end customer that's going to use the products, they do want to know what helps with parasites. They do want to know what's going to help with leaky gut. It's usually what's going to help my condition. Well, this is what my condition is called. I have fatty liver disease. Help me. What's a good product? What's a good protocol for that? So although in the marketing lingo on the clinical reference sheets of the company or on their website, they can't say that if they're trying to be compliant with the FDA, right? They can't say that, but behind the scenes, somebody's got to be able to share that with some practitioners so they know what the go-to products are. And there's other ways to do that. And that was one of the reasons I started a closed group Facebook group, because more liberties to be able to just share okay, here's the best fatty liver disease protocol. Here's the best parasite protocol that we've seen work, etc. Anyway, I realize that's kind of tangential there.
You got to go
But-
around, you got to dot your I's and cross your T's and do things the way that they need to be done. But at the same time, you're going to get results, and those results will speak for themselves.
Yeah. The results really speak for themselves. This company has been very comprehensive, and as far as the products that they make and how diverse they are. There's a lot of ingredients that made the process a little bit overwhelming for some people to learn, new people to learn. And it was my position with the company to help simplify that, to help give some direction and guidance and make it easier for practitioners and others to understand what the product and what the protocol was going to do.
Yeah.
And I think the simplicity that was there is that you didn't have to do some outrageous protocol in order to get the job done, because each product was as effective, the potency is there, and you had the rest assurance that the ingredients were safe to take.
Yeah, so we got systemic formulas in my biome, which are practically the same. Dr. Shane Morris runs them both. They'll transition more to my biome here in the future. But I know you're not just an expert in those programs and those supplement lines. Now that you've gone on your own, you're doing your own solo entrepreneur thing, you're an expert in other lines too. Which are those ones?
Yeah, there are other lines: Cell Core, Microbiome Labs, Nutritional Frontiers, even Designs for Health, and there are some others. I've had the opportunity to not only just study them, but also attend seminars and take notes and get to know some people who've given me more information that I would have not found otherwise. And so it's been fun to kind of have this unbiased view, be a fly on the wall at their seminars. I was always used to being the person that had to represent a booth, and we had that responsibility all weekend where we had to like promote our products at the seminar, whereas now I get to just go there and be a student and learn about Microbiome Labs, and that's been fun, and really just kind of see what their protocols are like. And so it's fun from an entrepreneurial standpoint, where you can take from each and put together our own protocols, because I've always had the opinion that not one is necessarily better than the other. I don't consider systemic formulas better than Cell Core. I don't. Some people prefer Cell Core over systemic formulas because they have better protocols for Lyme or for parasites or whatever. And that's based on their experience. But I guess back to my point, I think that there's good in every one of them, and there's ways in which you can still simplify a protocol guide for anyone using any and all of them together. The best of what systemic formulas and my biome has combined with the best of what Cell Core has, you can do the same protocol for the same person, and not make it overwhelming, using all of the above so that they can have the best possible outcomes.
I got a fun question for you. In all the years you've had experience working with practitioners, what are the most common questions you get?
Is this product vegan? That's, yeah. I think, there is a common question about, do you have a third-party lab? I mean, that one, since we were on this topic, that one does come up. Like how,
Really?
what research has been done on your products? Can you show me research on this product bind of yours? How do I know it's going to work? What testimonials do you have of clients? Like, there are those questions, but I think there's other questions that have to do with their patient's needs too.
I would imagine you get the vegan, the gluten-free, questions about capsules and what capsules are made out of.
Yes.
and then like ingredient questions. Because me as a practitioner, I just kept my knowledge very simple. That's how I am across the board. I want to know what's my protocol, or I'm going to create my own protocol, and does it work? That's all I need to know. I don't get into the ingredient questions. So when I have someone say, well, I'm allergic to this, or, what's the ingredients on this? Why is this ingredient included? Like, I don't know jack crap about that stuff. And I don't want to know either, because I know people like you already have that knowledge. So I'm just going to collaborate with you and borrow from your head from time to time and allow other practitioners to do the same thing. Because what I have in my head is different than what you have in your head. But I would imagine on the basis, on the daily basis, that you got those kind of questions. What was your favorite question you ever received? One that you just kind of smiled about.
I was going to say, Kylie, that aside from the gelatin question, where does the gelatin in the capsule come from? Or are these products vegan or, research-based, protocol-specific question? Often people would ask questions that pertain to help me grow my practice.
Mm.
They wanted someone at the company or the company to show them tools that could help them elevate their practice,
Okay.
help them grow. It's like, okay, yeah, teach me your products. Okay, I get that. How do I say that to a patient? How do I sell it to my patient? How am I going to get more patients using these products? I got to make a living here as a practitioner. So the questions surrounding that topic of marketing or business building, they come up again and again and again. Aside from the science stuff, the nitty gritty science stuff or protocols, the need for, I need help with marketing. No one's ever taught me before. Does your company have something? Can you show me?
What would be your one suggestion that you saw working with hundreds of practitioners? What would be the one thing that you would suggest to help grow their company?
I observed from people like you and others where I knew there was something unique that they had figured out through tears and sweat and investing and putting in the time to figure out what worked best to build a virtual practice or brick and mortar or transition to a virtual practice. I'd seen those who had done really successful, with Facebook ads and other ways. And so I think I had the tendency to want to refer these practitioners with these questions, like, help me with my business. I wanted to connect them. I wanted to put them into contact with people that could relate. I hadn't run a practice like them in the same way.
Smart.
As I was representing this company. I did ask questions. I got to know practitioners from all walks of life, and I got to see how they were running their businesses. And so I really did dive deep into the way they were running their clinics and learned a lot, but I wasn't that practitioner holding the fort down, running a brick and mortar or a virtual practice. Whereas somebody like you had and had polished that and polished that and polished that. And I saw some other people, some top producers of systemic formulas, like, okay, what are they doing? How did they figure this out? How are they able to duplicate this much? How do they have this many people, this much volume? All these sick people are getting better because of something they're doing. So maybe I could connect this practitioner with them. That's because systemic had some things here and there, but that wasn't necessarily their forte to teach practitioners marketing.
They're a supplement company. I mean, we got to go to other places to learn a business. I don't want to name names, and so we'll just keep it very general. The one thing that switched in my practice was the blood work. That switched everything for me. Because now, instead of me having this long process that was individualized, and I get that's how we're taught, we have to help everybody one-on-one and be with holding their hand for 12 months or sometimes even 2 years, 3 years. I tried that. It didn't jive with me because I didn't like working with people for 12 months. So I figured out the blood work, and then I figured out I could do this at a group, in a group setting, So now I'm leveraging my time, my expertise, and I get to help more people while I'm at it. So I don't know the background, but let's just keep it general. There was a big practice. They're huge now, but they were on the brick point of bank failure, of calling it quits and having a hard time or at that point. And they threw in the towel, meaning they went all in on something they'd never done before. And that was Facebook ads. Mike, what happened when they ran those Facebook ads?
Their business completely changed. And they had already been running ads to do seminars. They were traveling out to like hotel rooms they were renting out for the night, to do these seminars. And that's how they were building their business. Once they got beyond their hometown and, their region, they were like going out of the state. They were traveling 6 hours, 8 hours away to do these seminars. And they had to do Facebook ads for that. So they had some experience in terms of like what they saw worked and what failed miserably. They put a lot of money into it and they figured out, okay, this works, this doesn't work. So by the time though, like right as COVID hit, they decided to just go 100% virtual.
And what they did, because I want to bring this up with my story too, was, they had nothing left. They convinced the bank to give them a $40,000 loan, $50,000 loan, whatever it was. And they put all of that into Facebook ads. And they just said, you know what? I'm betting on myself. I'm going all in. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I know I at least gave myself every chance, every possibility. And it completely changed everything. So let's fast forward, because that was 2020 for them. 2023 for me, a couple months ago, I'm sitting 6 figures in the hole. I took a risk that I shouldn't have. Let's just be honest. But I learned a whole lot in the process, in which, as I will look back on the beginning of 2023 and say that changed everything for me. Because it has. It's changed everything the way I do. I've done a lot of things, but I'm sitting 6 figures in the hole. And I'm like, and barely enough to keep PayPal off my back, barely enough to keep Stripe off my back. I'm getting phone calls, I'm getting emails, I'm getting messages from American Express saying that I don't have money, my credit card limit's over. Like, I'm getting all the things. Okay. The one thing that kept me moving was my mindset. And the people I would talk with my scenario about, I was very, very careful. Because if they were going to come at me in a negative mindset or something I didn't need in my head, they weren't getting my conversation. That includes close family members. So I'm like barely telling my husband what I've been experiencing the last 5 months, because I knew that in order to keep my head in the right space, I had to talk to the right people. Which means I'm going to be in this mastermind and I'm going to fly to Arizona. I'm going to be there for less than 24 hours, but I know that the people in that room are going to keep my head in the game. Okay. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because I get a lot of people who want to talk about money, and because we can't. As practitioners, it's very difficult for us to talk about money, to ask for it, to receive it. That's a big journey of mine. It's a big journey I want to help more practitioners on in the future with this new program we're offering. We'll talk about it. But I'm sitting here in the negatives. You know this, because this is when you and I are starting to collaborate and we're building out the few things we're starting to do. And I know that more is coming. And I'm going to do everything it takes. I had this much space left on my credit card. And I said, you know what? What I'm doing needs to change. I can't keep this organic traffic only thing. It is exhausting me. It is burning me out. So I think a lot of these practitioners they're running their wheels and they're spinning their wheels and they're just talking to the same people over and over and over again. And yeah, I had done the podcasting. I'd been on guests as many times as possible. It got me to a good point where I could take a 6-figure risk like I did. But then it came to, I'm going to throw in everything. And I went all out. I hired a Facebook ads manager. That was a couple $1,000s a month just for her services. I threw in a couple $1,000s for an ad launch. I wanted to throw in more, but Facebook wouldn't allow me because I hadn't ever spent money before. So they're like, we're not going to just let you spend $1,000 a day. You're crazy. But I threw in enough. And I went all in. I bet on myself, even though I had nothing to bet on besides my own head and my drive to know that this is going to work because there's no other option. And it worked. And now I'm like, heck, how much can I throw into Facebook ads? Like, here, let's feed it as much as possible, because now that I overcame that hump, and what I learned from the Facebook ads too is I've tried to run them on my own. It just doesn't jive with me. I don't know enough about the cost per lead. So when I would look at it, I would start a Facebook ad campaign, and I was in a mastermind where we were learning how to do this on a very, very high level. And I would see like $4 a lead. Oh my gosh, that's too much. And I'd turn it off like 2 days into it. So I've just learned, for me, if I want it to work, I got to pay an expert to help me with their expertise. So as practitioners, as we're running in this business world, we got two problems. One, money. We got money issues. That's the downright truth. We're told we have to help everybody, and we can't charge anything to do it. Two, I don't remember what my second one was. Oh, yes, I do. We're playing all 9 positions on the diamond. I'm a baseball fan. And if I'm expecting myself to play all 9 positions on the field, at some point, I'm going to lose the game. At some point, I'm going to burn myself out. So it's okay to bring in help. Now, Mike and I are collaborating. I want to use that word very carefully. Okay? We're not partners. We're not 50-50 in a business. I run my business. He runs his business. We are joining forces on some programs to help more practitioners in more ways. So be open to it. I've collaborated with a lot of people. And when I say collaborate, I'm going to pay them their hourly fees or pay them for their expertise, not only to come help my audience, but in my own business, the question is who, not how. I might want to get into ClickFunnels for this other thing that Mike and I are thinking about doing. I know nothing about ClickFunnels. I just know it works because I see people walk across the stage all the time with their diplomas, and I might want a diploma. So I'm thinking I'm going to hire somebody who is an expert in ClickFunnels, because ultimately I want to do things right the first time, now that I've done everything wrong many times. But just have that mindset shift of who, not how. And 2, let's make money easy to ask for, to talk about, and receive. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about now. When I'm going to be on stages, at some point I'm going to be on stages, my conversation, my topic is going to be money, because it's been such a journey with me. How dare I throw another $20,000 into something where I'm already 6 figures in the hole, and I still have $250,000 of debt in student loans sitting to my name. But it's a transition of learning new ways about money, learning new things about money, learning new ways to make decisions around money. And I don't know. I like where I'm headed. I like where you're headed. I like where we're headed together. Should we tell them about their new opportunity?
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. So as you know, Mike is brilliant with all things supplements, ingredients. Don't ask me about what ingredient does this and why it's in the supplement. I got no clue. Ask Mike. I'm very good at the labs. I'm very good at marketing, business, mindset, and money. So we're going to add those 4 aspects plus the clinical into our brand new If Factor membership, where we're going to get more of the If Factor in your life and your business. If IIF stands for impact, income, and freedom. And the formula to which we're going to do that is this. First, we're going to build it. That's the business aspect. Second, we're going to brand it. That's the marketing aspect. Third, we're going to bank it. That's the money aspect. And fourth, we're going to become it, the mindset. Become this confident person where you can do what you want to do and help more people and live a life of more impact, more income, and more freedom. Those 4 steps, combined with the 5th, all things clinical, are going to help you propel your business further, faster, all while saving you more time and energy in the meantime. So come join the If Factor membership. We're doing our founding member price through the end of May. You can get all the details at drkylieburton.com/membership. And what does that look like? How are we going to achieve those results? 4 things. 1, 30-minute training by myself, which I will educate you on what I see needed in that time. You'll have access to that training on the Facebook group and inside the portal. 1 30-minute training from Mike, in which he sees you need help with at that time. And then 1 90-minute laser coaching session with me on Zoom where I can help you in the moment with whatever you need in that moment for 90 minutes a month. Same thing with Mike on another 90-minute call. Anything clinical is his jam. So if you're thinking like, this is what I need at the price ticket I need it in, you need to be around the right people. You need to be somewhere where you've got access to marketing, business, mindset, money, and clinical, which, that's not very common. We've got it for you in the If Factor membership. So drkylieburton.com/membership. We'll see you on the inside. Right, Mike?
Yes, we'll see you on the inside. Can't wait.
The health coaching certification program that I recommend is Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, or FDN. You can get started anytime. So grab the $250 off code from the show notes and go to fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie and get started. Don't wait any longer. Make 2023 your year. Do this for you, your family, and for those you're about to help. fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie. Ready to have all of your blood work compiled in one location where you can easily read it all together? Well, go grab my book, Why Are My Labs Normal, on Amazon. Grab it, learn how to read your own labs, and take the power back in your hands because your normal blood work is loaded with answers. You just got to have the right person reading it, and the right person can be you. Go grab it on Amazon, Why Are My Labs Normal by Dr. Kylie Burton. Leave a review, and we'll see you on the next episode.